Hello everyone, my name is Pam and this is my daughter Paige, and we're here on the Sabbatical Lake Cooking Demonstration Program, and we brought to you today a recipe that's going to be really healthy and very good, and we hope you enjoy it. It's called Holiday Collard Greens. Before we get started with our recipe, I just want to ask a question. Does anyone know what we can eat in order to make healthy blood? What's the best thing for us to eat in order to make healthy blood?
Green leafy vegetables.
Thank you, that's right, green leafy vegetables, because there's an ingredient called chlorophyll that is so good, and it actually is made up of the same components of our blood. And that's why it is so good for us to eat. Well, this recipe is going to show us how we can have something quite tasty for holiday meals and anytime really, that is healthy for us and tastes good too. When I was growing up, my mother taught me this recipe, and I'm going to show you with just a few basic ingredients how to make this dish. First, you will take a large onion and chop it up. And here I have onion in this container, and so I'll have Paige put that in our pot for us, and we'll just assemble it as we go. Then we will take one red bell pepper that is chopped and put that in the pot. Next, we'll have celery. We use 3 stalks of celery for this recipe. Chop those up and put that in our pot. My mother always taught me that if you have these 3 basic ingredients, onion, bell pepper, and celery, those are natural seasonings, and they make any dish taste good, especially vegetable dishes. But you can actually use those 3 things in sauces and all types of other things. But they're very good and they season well. The celery is natural sodium. The bell pepper gives kind of a sweet flavor, and onion, of course, we know is very, very tasty. The next thing we want to do is we're going to add some other seasonings and a little bit of oil. So first, I have some extra virgin olive oil that I'm going to use, and so we want to use about 3 tablespoons. Now we have a small demonstration here, but the recipe I'm giving you is for making a large dish. So for our purposes, we're going to use half of everything I say, but I'm going to tell you what the recipe says. 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Then this container has onion powder in it, so we will use 1 tablespoon of onion powder. Next, we have garlic powder. 1 tablespoon. You might say that onion powder, garlic powder, and salt are the actual seasonings, granular seasonings that help everything taste good, because I use these 3 in combination in lots of dishes as well. For the garlic powder, we have about 1½ tablespoons. This is my container I use at home for my sea salt. Of course, it doesn't come this way, but I put things in different containers just for ease of use, so I can easily dip a spoon in. So that's what this is in this container. And we'll be using 1 tablespoon of sea salt. Once we have all of these ingredients in the pot, we're going to just stir them up lightly, just to mix the granular seasonings and the vegetable seasonings together before we start to cook, and to evenly distribute the oil among all of the seasonings. That's going to be the basis for our dish. And it looks so pretty, all those colors. Can you see that? Okay. Now we're ready to add the greens. I have a combination of greens here today. What I have here is chopped cabbage. You'll use about half of a chopped cabbage, and you can put that in. And the majority of our dish, of course, is our collard greens. Now, I have to tell you, I purchased the greens from the store already washed and chopped. That saves a lot of time. But you may also purchase fresh ones and wash them and chop them yourself. But I have a little secret that I want to tell you about the collard greens. We lived not long ago near a farmer who used to grow his own collard greens, among other things. He told us a secret. He doesn't pick the collard greens until after the first frost because it makes them very sweet. So what I do is when I buy collard greens, I put them in the freezer to kind of simulate the same thing. I don't know when they pick them, so I just kind of try to simulate it myself. And it tends to add a little bit to the flavor. So these have been frozen and they were already chopped, and I'll just show you just in case you want to see. This is the bag that the greens were in. It comes from the store, and this is about 2 pounds of collard greens in the bag when it's full. Thank you. And so we're gonna put these greens in this pot. Now, the pot looks very small compared to the greens. You might want to use this one. But we're gonna get it all in there because greens, when they're cooked, cook way down. So when we're done, it'll be proportionate to the size of the pot that you see now, but at first, there's a lot of it. You don't have to worry about stirring, you can just put them in. What we do is we put everything in. First, we had stirred everything up. After that, we just put the greens in and let them cook down. Once they're in the pot, they will cook on medium heat for 20 minutes. At that time, usually, the greens have cooked down well enough so that now you can stir them. Stir them up and then put the top back on the pot and lower the heat. After that, they will cook for about an hour or until they're tender enough for you. Okay? One last thing I do. If you can't fit it all in, it's okay. One last thing is I add 2 cups of water to the pot. Of course, we'll be adding half that because our pot is smaller. And that's it. Once the water is placed in the pot, along with the water that will come off of the greens naturally, and then they were frozen with the cabbage and the other vegetables, there will be plenty of liquid at the bottom of the greens so that they can be cooked and they'll stay hydrated the whole time. Let's take a look at the finished product. Here is how the holiday greens will look. And as you will see, I call them holiday greens because all the pretty peppers and other vegetables in them make a very nice, colorful dish. As I said before, of course, you can enjoy these anytime. But that is our chlorophyll-rich, healthy blood type of dish. And they're yummy and they're good for you too. Thank you so much.